All right, another week down, 2-2 on the week. I thought it got off to a really good start on the road over in Ruston. Proud of the guys that showed up, professional, really organized, and just got after it in the box. Thought it was a really good job by Toll opening up the game and giving us 2 innings, and then J-Rob, Justin Robinson, being the spark that he was on the mound, and just kind of set the tone to go into the series against Georgia State with a lot of momentum. And it's just it's another good opponent. This league is so tough. Coming in, we knew that they were kind of sneaky good offensively and could apply some pressure. So the key for us was to eliminate free runners, and we just didn't do that. They jumped off to a quick lead using the short game, applying some pressure. And so they make you adjust a little bit with your positioning, and then they have a base hit early there in the first inning where you're guarding against a short game, and that exposes you on some holes on the infield on a base hit. So jump out to a 4-0 lead. I thought our guys did a really good job battling back. When you get, you're down 4-0, then you're up 6-4. You got to keep it right there and keep going and figure out how to win that game. But we lose that lead, and then we lose. We go up 7-6, and then we lose that lead, and it's just we have got to eliminate free runners. We've had the conversations with our guys, and we got to improve our running game. It's our holding runners, and it's just something that we're going to have to bear down on even more and continue to push our guys. And it's never too late to click. We can do that. I thought Broadnax was tough. It's just he had 10 punch outs, and that's what he needs to understand with his outings. When he's really good in the zone like that, he's tough to hit. So the next step is eliminating the runners. Getting on base by walks, and then being able to keep them there at first base. If they do get there, induce a ground ball, whatever it may be, to get out of the inning. I thought Roark and Hess pitched their hearts out. I just saw our guys were playing hard all weekend, and they were prepared to play. I kind of saw them pressing a little bit so hard to get it done. And there's no reason. Just be the team that you've been offensively. Put your ABs together. Take what they give you, and we'll be fine. And so we just didn't get it done. I thought really there were some bright spots, there in the 12th, 11th or 12th, I believe. We thought there's an opportunity to run, and we give Weethorn the green light with 2 outs. And, he's still second. I thought that was a veteran play right there, and so now we're 1 swing away from ending the game, and we just didn't get it done. But, had to bounce back. I thought we had some nice doubles and homers in there. Aranda, again, continues to be really good, getting 2-strike mistakes. Good to see Micah Dean's slugging start to come back, but just didn't get it done. And then obviously the weather comes into play. I just didn't know. The information in front of us kept saying that it was going to fall out here Saturday morning, and we just had to play 2, and neither team wanted to do it, but we just had to do it. And obviously, game 1, and I think Corley does a really good job of giving us a chance to win, and he was pitching fine. The 6-run inning. None of that was really he was pitching fine. We weren't making plays behind him, and then the inning just kind of spirals out of control, and that's where we need to grow up and continue to get better. And so I watched the rest of the game from my office. It was, great spirited battle back and forth. I think both teams were just trying so hard to win that they were just getting out of whack with what they were trying to do in the box. And so really proud of the effort for our guys to come back like that. And then, obviously you go into game 3 and you're short on arms and Haggard's out with an injury. Like you knew you were going to have to win a tough man's game and fight a battle. And we just didn't get it done. And so, I thought Georgia State played really tough all weekend. I thought they were playing with a desperate attitude, and it was good. It was 2 teams competing the right way. It really was. And so, hats off to them. But we're going to turn the page and we're going to get ready. A couple guys went out of town. I gave them the morning to get back this morning. We're going to meet this afternoon, get back on the field. We'll get some lifts in. We have Mississippi Valley coming in tomorrow, and then we'll hop on 2 sleeper buses Wednesday evening and get up there and get ready to go for a really good series against Appalachian State. They're tough at their place. They have 2 really good starters that I was just watching on video, and it'll be a good road series for us to get in there and play the right way and play the way the game's supposed to be played. I'm looking forward to get back with our guys. I think it's tough to play a doubleheader on that Friday, but they got some much needed rest. I did think they left it all out on the field, so I'm ready to get back with them and be ready to go.
First of all, status of Jake, what's it look like?
Yeah, he'll be fine. He has some really severe cramping in his back and just probably a dehydration issue. and we'll get him back. You know, it hurt him to come out of the game, and he tried to go game 3, but he should be back, and we'll continue to monitor it, but he should be back.
So what's your stance just in terms of defending your players, but also trying not to show up an umpire? Where do you stand on that situation?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, between the two teams going into a weekend, there's 65 to 70 young, emotional adults on the field, right? And so these guys are amateurs. We made a mistake. Like, we're yelling in our glove. We've had the conversation with our players. We don't talk to umpires. But the situation was diffused quickly. Like, Coach Cox is in the earpiece to Aranda, go stop him, go get in front right there, okay? And so once that happens and Corley's back is turned and he's walking to the dugout, it's over. At that point, there's, between the coaching staffs and the officials, there's about 15 adults, right, that have been through it and can diffuse situations. And, I just thought what I saw is Corley is walking off the field and it's over with. And then we have, we're pointing and yelling at a player that can incite more stuff. And that's what I took issue with. And so, people can have their opinions. That's fine. I'm going to defend our players, okay? And we're all in on it. Like, this is our life. We are all in on this. And so, I just don't like to see my player being attacked. I'm going to have his back, and we'll have a discussion on how we need to handle stuff moving forward. But we haven't had a player umpire incident all year, okay? And these guys are, there's pressure on these guys to perform. I know how hard they work, and so it was. I just didn't appreciate the fact that we're yelling at a player, and that's what I told the guy. And so, I respect the job. It's really hard, and it's not easy, and sometimes it's thankless. But there's a lot of good ones, okay? There's a lot of good ones that I've seen diffuse situations, walking off. Okay, they analyze it, player's back turn, we're done. I'm going to go talk to the head coach and ask him to address it. And that didn't happen. And so, I did what I felt I needed to do, and there were no issues the rest of the day.
How bizarre was it for you to be sitting in your office for literally, 6 hours, I guess?
Yeah.
You got to watch my game at work, I'm sure, but besides that, it had been very bizarre, very
Yeah.
surreal for you.
Yeah, it wasn't very fun. It was, I'm watching it on my computer, which is a little delayed, and then in the production room next to me is live, so I kind of have it was torture, is what it was. I could hear yelling through the room, and then I'm looking at the TV. What happened in my office? And so, it wasn't very fun. I want to be in the dugout. I don't like not being in the dugout, but I thought our staff did a really good job of wheeling the guys back. And I'm really proud of my team to, just to show some resiliency there. I think when the ejection happened, we were down 6 or 7 runs, and so a really good job to come back, and just proud of the effort.
Even losing the series, you guys are still tied for second in the Sun Belt. I guess that just shows the competitive balance in this league right now.
Absolutely, really good league, really good coaches, really good players. It's just you have to, what I'm starting to learn right now, you can't get caught up in looking. You got to show up and play. You go into the weekend, a matchup in the back of your mind. If it goes one way, it benefits you a little bit, and you exhaust yourself looking at it. You got to worry about your team so much and make sure your players are focused and ready to go. And so, it's an incredible league. It really is. Just any given weekend, any team in this thing can beat the other team. And so, why would you want it any other way? It's competitive. Really good players, really good fan bases, engaged fan bases. I'm loving being a part of it. We just have to continue to play better and make sure our best baseball is ahead and strive to improve.
I was going to ask you too, when you leave the game, not that you want to leave the game, but how much was benefit to have Coach Schatz, who has divisional and head coaching experience, and then not only that, but he had to play National League manager too, and everything that happened, just to have a guy that's experienced to take over for you. Just what does that mean?
Yeah, I thought it was big. Those guys did a really good job. Schatz has been around this game a long time. There's a 8 or 9 or 10 year stretch where he didn't know what it was like to not win a conference championship. He's been around, but he's also won a lot, and so I knew he would be in control, and I knew Coach Cox would do a really good job with the pitchers, having them lined up, ready to go. And he and Schatz would do a good job communicating, and I knew Henry would have a really good plan for the hitters. And so it's like I've said it all along, we're really lucky to have an exceptional staff here. Those guys they're obsessed with this, making our players better and making ULM better, and that's what we're all trying to do. And so just really proud of them. You know, it was just, you know, I think we had about 35 minutes in between games. And I think the first 10 minutes right after the game, they're just in my office trying to catch their breath. And we're just, you know, sitting there talking, laughing. And so, you know, happy for them. But I knew it was in good hands with Coach Schatz.
You referenced it a second ago. You want to win this series, but obviously to get Saturday, Sunday off. How important that might be for the kids to get a break from baseball and kind of see their family? You think in the big picture, long run, it may be beneficial?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, it just kind of happened with the doubleheader. And then and Brad and I, the Georgia State, like we were doing everything we could to avoid the doubleheader. You know, it's just too risky with the travel and the lightning and the, you know, and so once the game kind of happened, you know, you have to be adaptable to this. And you know, I told the guys like, look, I don't want to see you for 48 hours. If you're a 4 or 5 hour guy, you know, maybe if a Dallas area guy or New Orleans, like go home. And I'll give you time Monday morning to get back, you know, because it is important. You know, I know these guys miss their families and just to get away and a breather and a little reset. You know, we work so hard, and these guys, we ask them to do a lot, and we're hard on them, you know, and so you just want a break kind of naturally happens, you know, an extra day. I wanted them to take advantage of it. And so, you know, some nicks and bruises can heal up. You know, you saw a couple guys struggle for the first time, like Mosey. That was just, you know, he hadn't had a weekend like that this year. So I told him in front of the team, like, hey, man, just it was a rough series for you. Turn the page, and there's no reason you can't be the guy that you've been all year the rest of the year. So just it is important, Aaron, and, you know, obviously, I think they did. I hope they took advantage of it, you know, and got to see some loved ones. And, you know, we have some guys from all corners of the country. They were probably here just hanging out with each other, but it was, yeah, much needed break, but we'll be back at it this afternoon.
As a baseball coach, you got to be a meteorologist, obviously, dealt with that. Now App State, have you looked ahead? Will it supposed to
Yeah.
be back there?
I think it'll be a little chilly. You know, we'll pull the hoodies back out and be ready to go. But, you know, I just wanted to, just relative to the place in general, I wanted to figure out the best way to travel, right? And so, you know, I talked to a couple right when I got this job and I started tackling the scheduling. You know, I reached out to Oz at Southern Miss because, you know, they went up there and swept them, you know, probably because they have really good players. But there's a lot that goes into the travel as well. I just said, how did you travel up there? You know, they played Wednesday night and left at midnight. So they played their midweek game Wednesday. He said he went to, he let the boys go eat. They got back, they got on 2 sleeper buses and traveled up there, you know, and he's just very adamant about, he's like, Ford, it was awesome. You know, our guys loved it. We traveled through the night. You got to make sure they go to sleep. And we got off the bus at a Cracker Barrel, went and ate breakfast. And next thing you know, you got 2 hours left. You know, to me, that's, you know, our guys can handle that. You know, I think sometimes there's a misconception on flying that you feel great. We flew everywhere at Memphis, you know, and you get to the practice field finally by Thursday night, you know, and you're kind of labored a little bit, right? And so it's there's a couple different ways to do it. I feel like this is most effective for this group, and you know, we're gonna get up there and sleep through the night on 2 separate buses, and we're gonna turn our phones in and lay our head on the pillow, you know, and get ready. And so we're looking forward to it. It's unique, but I think it'll be fun, a good tight knit trip for our guys.